holistic understanding of the image of God. Holistic is as a whole, right? Now, the duty of humanity, as soon as God created the first man, he offered him 3 gifts. We'll close with this. He gave him the Garden of Eden, he gave him food, and he gave him the woman. Okay. So, in the first case, why did he give him the Garden of Eden? Now, that has a lot of they were supposed to keep it and tend it. They were, yeah, just work, but you know, you can work in a place and don't give, yeah, take care of it. Stewards is the word that I was looking for. We're stewards. The Lord gave us this as stewards. We have to keep it. You know, I have a neighbor that sold his property. Property is about 12 acres. He had his little house, not very luxurious, but it was a nice house. And he sold it to the city because they're going to make a park right out there where we are at. Behind there, supposedly it's a plan. I don't know when they're going to do it. City of Pharr is going to make a park. It is going to be a walkway that is going to go all the way to Alamo and then all the way somewhere. And then all the way to Santana Wildlife. 26 miles of a trail. That's the plan. Well, they're going to start right there, right around my house, your house, like they say in Mexico. Mi casa es su casa. So, right around there, and then they bought this property. And when he was there, he had horses, he had chickens, he had all kinds of, it was a little ranch. You know, except that nice, clean. Well, it hasn't been like a month. Was it been a month since they left, or 2 months? About 2 months, but I mean, it's been 2 weeks. You look at that place, and it's like, it's abandoned. You know, the trees fell down on towards the front over the fence, and then the house looks like a spook house. I don't know. It's just a month. Nobody tended to it. Nobody lives there. The place looks terrible. So the Lord gives us our properties to keep and to be stewards. And He gave us the garden. He gave us this world to be stewards of the world. So this is the meaning of the gifts of God to us. Food. Yeah, I could spend hours talking about food because He gave us certain foods to eat, but we choose to eat something else. So He gave us what? Of all the trees of the garden that have fruit shall be for you to eat, right? That's the first thing that He said to Adam. And from all the trees of the garden that have grain or seed, which is the oily nuts, right? The pecans and all that, it will be for you to eat. And of all of the herbs of the field will be for you to eat. So that's the food that he assigned to us. And if He assigned it to us, it's good, right? Because God does not want for us to suffer. Not even 1 hour, not even 1 minute. But we suffer because we are in this God-forsaken earth. It's not really, it's just a term. God never forsakes anything. If He was not in charge of He would not take care of us, this place would have been gone a long time ago. But God takes care of us. But it's a place in which we have forsaken God. And therefore, Satan has his way with a lot of people and a lot of everything that goes on, right? People tend to, as men, we tend to blame God for things. If son dies, we say, "Why, God? Why did you do that?" We are actually blaming God for the death of our son, which death is not a consequence of living with God. If you live with God, there's no death. Of course, that's going to be in heaven. But on this earth, not until He comes, there will be death. That's why the Lord says, "Where is your dead, your sting?" When the Lord comes, He's going to say, "Where is the sting of death?" It's going to be gone. There's going to be no more death, no more suffering, no more crying, But now we have to suffer because we live on this planet. And then at the end is the woman. He gave him the woman. And as I said before, he gave it from the side, not from the bone of the foot, not from the bone of the skull, to show that she's equal with men. And then when they ask him about Jesus, about divorce, he says, because of the hardness of your hearts, Moses said to give letters of divorce, to protect the woman. Because in those days, you know, if they didn't like how she cooked, letter of divorce. If they didn't like how she ironed the shirt, divorce. They didn't like divorce. It was really something else. They probably liked somebody else or something. But there was always an excuse for divorce. Well, that's not the purpose of God. He said, that's not the purpose, but because of the protection of women, I gave Moses the opportunity to write letters of divorce for the protection of women. So divorce is not the purpose of God. Divorce is not really what he wants, but it happens, and it happens in our church. Now we won't go into details, but this is, the Lord gave us women to take care, women to take care of them, to treat them as equal, not to trample on their rights or their physically, there's abuse. That's not the purpose of God. And that happens in our church. That happens with our pastors. That happens with our leaders. We're not very different than the world because we do not follow the instruction of the Lord. But the instruction of the Lord is to take care of your bodies with your food, to take care of the Garden of Eden, or the earth, and to take care of the woman that he gave us. Very touchy subject, but it's there, right? But it's there. And if we would uphold the woman, if we would respect women, if we would treat him the way the Lord wanted us to. Doesn't matter whether she does this, she does that, or the other. But supposedly we as men are supposed to gain that love. We're supposed to earn it, work for it, tend the garden, tend the food, and then work for the relationship we have with women. So this ends the study of the lesson. I'm going to leave a couple of questions here for you not to answer right now, but ponder in your mind. How does the fact that faith begins with the belief in creation affect my life and my choices? Right? That's a question. What lesson do we learn from God's creating when we were not around to witness the event, and from resting on Sabbath to celebrate his work for us? There's one word. It's faith. It's always faith. Everything's by faith. May the Lord bless you. Do you have any